It's time again for Skip E Lowe Looks at Hollywood. Her talent acknowledged, one of our guests today has been described alternately as kittenish, sexy, lithe, and sensuous. She's the Eartha Kitt. Also with us was one of the writers of and a frequent guest on the Jack Paar Show. She's the delightful Reiko. And now, here's your host and man of the half hour, Skip E Lowe.
Eartha Kitt. Good God. My Lord.
Oh, yes.
I know, that's your makeup man. You look absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you a question real quick. What chances do you think Jesse Jackson have for becoming president of this country?
I think maybe 2 terms from now, someone like Jesse Jackson would be impossible.
You don't think this time?
I don't.
What do you think?
There is a possibility, but I don't think so because he's not experienced enough yet to hold that position.
Do you think
then,
there's
as I say, who is experienced
true.
enough to be president of this country?
Do you think there's a conspiracy in the White House for keeping him, in this country, for keeping him out of the White House?
I certainly would not like to think so.
Right.
But I think what is happening with Jesse Jackson is a very interesting thing that is happening to the United States at the moment because of what he has done and what Martin Luther King really actually started is what is now becoming more focused into the realization of the black people that they too must become and behave and exercise their integral part of the United States of America. And because of what Jesse Jackson did, they realized that if you go out and vote, you will
He's getting a lot of people out there to vote?
Yeah, but if you vote, you have a better chance of getting in whom you want.
Right. You're satisfied with him, though? Jesse Jackson.
Am I satisfied with Jesse Jackson? I'm not satisfied with anybody. I think that somebody who should be running this country should be somebody who knows how to be a business person, who realizes that a business should be run at a profit, not as a deficit. I don't understand how such a wonderful country as ours is always at a deficit. And the people of the country are constantly being forced into paying off the debts of politicians whom we vote in.
Right.
Or by not voting, then these people become in these positions that are making fools of us all.
But the blacks are having a better life nowadays. They're more accepted, better... No,
The blacks are not having a better life.
No? Okay, go
The
ahead.
blacks, like anybody.
Right.
Like the Jews, like the
Jews,
Italian,
right.
like the
Exactly.
Poles, like
Okay.
all of us as
Yes.
Americans. As Americans, we want a better life.
Why are they making such a big issue of a black man running for a president in this country? I mean...
Because it's unique, and isn't it a shame that we have to say that?
It is.
It's a unique situation, and it's about time that we realize that, like it says, no matter whom you are or what you are, you do stand the chance of the possibility of becoming president of the United States of America. But no matter whom you are, it's the only job in the world where one is not trained to be in that position. They have to know about how to take care of business. They have to know how to take care of America.
Why is
It's not just so much that one is concerned about the Jews or the blacks or the Italians or whatever. Why aren't we concerned about America? I thought this was
just
a melting
America,
pot.
right, exactly.
Americans, yes.
Exactly.
And we all fit into the same situation.
Exactly.
I don't want any favors as a person of color. I'm sure that the Japanese or the, I don't know about the Japanese, they seem to be wanting everything these days. Excuse me.
They certainly
they
are.
want my country, it seems. But it seems so interesting to me that every time I leave this country and I come back, I find that I feel more like a foreigner in my own country than I did from the country I came from. And I only go away from this country to work.
It is a shame, all these foreigners in our country.
And they're taking over very subtly. Like the man said, you won't have to need guns to take over America. We will just walk in. And this seemingly is what is happening.
Yes, that's true.
And the business all over.
What's happening with the Middle East? What's happening there? Eartha? You said something the last time on my show about the Middle East. What do you think
Which
about
part
that?
of the Middle East?
Well, around Palestine, Israel, and all that area, they're fighting. Why are they fighting so? Why don't they just give them that land or something? Why, Eartha?
Well, I don't know.
Difficult.
Well, I know it may be a difficult answer because one can only give an opinion according to what one has experienced and what one has seen.
Because you
of
lived
course,
in the Middle East.
I've lived everywhere, mostly Well, yes, everywhere. And I keep my eyes open all the time, and you talk to people of the countries whom you can get really knowledge from. Not from politicians. You're not going to get anything from politicians because they're very, quote-unquote, diplomatic. But the people, the real people,
Yes.
That's why I take my chances in going to foreign countries and talking to the real people, working people, and they are not afraid, particularly when there is no camera there or something like that. Then they are more apt to tell you the truth. But why aren't they giving away this land? Everything has to, seemingly, is dealing with what the Bible says. The religion says this piece of land belonged to us, and then another Bible says this piece of land belonged to us, and there isn't always a bottom line of religious ism that says we have the right to this land. God gave us this land.
Right.
Well, I can say the same thing too, that God is an Indian. I'm a Cherokee Indian. I can say too that God gave me the land of the United States of America. So could I go to the government and say I want my land back? Or should we start to something like that, a little, you know,
I'm going to go back just right
debate
now.
about that kind of thing?
I'm going to get off of that.
As a matter of fact,
Go ahead.
As a Cherokee Indian, I'm entitled to part of the oil of the United States of
certainly
America. I'm entitled to 40 acres and a mule.
Yes, they're giving Japanese money now.
Wait, why are they giving Japanese money and they're not giving it to
American Indians, yes, it's true. That's true. I agree with you.
As American Indians,
You grew up in North Carolina?
I haven't grown up anywhere.
Oh, come on, Eartha. You picked cotton. You said last time you were on my show you...
But I didn't grow up there.
Well,
I was only born there.
Okay, you were born there.
I was born picking cotton in South Carolina, yes.
Okay.
But I have grown up all over the world, so you cannot say I have grown up in any specific place.
Eartha Kitt's traveled all over the world.
107 countries.
Speak languages?
Yes.
Many.
When I'm in trouble, all of them.
All of them. Men of the world, you've been entertaining. Eartha Kitt has entertained kings. Some of the kings. Who are some of the kings Eartha Kitt has entertained?
Farouk, whom I couldn't stand.
Couldn't stand Cooper?
No, I thought he was a very unkosher kind of person. And, the Prince of
Did you get a lot of jewels in those days, Eartha? For men, jewels. Did they give you
get a lot?
jewels, furs? Yes. When they used to come to see Eartha Kitt sing, did they give you jewels?
They gave me a lot of things, not what I really wanted. Land is what I wanted.
You wanted land?
I still do. As a matter of fact, there was a situation with the Aga Khan people in the Plaza Hotel when I was singing one night, and there were like 20 seats empty directly in front of me. And they came in, all of them, because they were saving these tables for these VIPs, Aga Khan's family. And I stopped the show and waited until each one of them sat down, and they had all of this jewels on, because he was one of those people, not the Aga, but one of his members of his family, I won't mention the name. He would hire models, and then he would go to Winston's or Cartier and Tiffany, and he would have all of these girls bejeweled in all of these jewels and furs, and so I waited until they were all seated, very calmed down, and they had their little coffee and their little this and their little that. And then I said to him in Turkish, "Teşekkür ederim." And he looked at me. And at the end of the show, because I'm singing "C'est si bon," blah, 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 he took all the jewelry off of these girls, put them on a tray that was serving his petit foie or whatever it was on the table, and he took the tray on the floor, and the tray slid to my feet like that. And I said to my drummer in Spanish, "Take it all to my room." And he did. But it took him 15 days to get the jewelry back, because I said, I have 400 people, 450 some people in my room that said, "You gave me this jewelry." But sometimes they want it back because of obvious reasons.
What do you really want?
Everything is very
What
costly,
do
very
Eartha Kitt
expensive.
really wants in a man, looking for in a man? Really? What do you really look for in a man, Eartha?
I don't really think I'm looking for anything special, except maybe a good partner, because I'm a dirt person. I love to dig in the dirt. That's why I never have any nails.
Dirt?
I'm also
What does Eartha Kitt say?
Because I like land. I understand the land. I know if I have a piece of land, I will never go hungry, because I know very much how to be a farm girl. I was born in the cotton fields of South Carolina. I know the dirt. I trust the dirt. I do not trust jewelry. I would not refuse it if someone gave it to me. But it's more than apt will be hawked for a piece of land.
See, last time you were on my show, you said you are the original bag lady.
I am.
What do you mean by that?
I'm
I
also
don't know what
the
you mean.
original Beverly Hillbilly, because up here at my house in La Colina Drive, I had chickens and everything else growing up there, my
I
own
see what
eggs
you
and
mean.
all that sort of thing. But when I came out of the South into New York, being brought there by my aunt, who took me out of the cotton fields after my mother gave me to this family, who was not very nice to me because I'm not the right color to be accepted by the blacks and not the right color to be accepted by the whites, and you on top of all of that is a bastard child. You are considered an ugly duckling, and nobody wants you. But if you're given away, then that family or whomever you're giving away to uses you as a work mule. And of course, if there was food, I got it. If there was no food, then I was the last one to be fed. So between the animals, the cats and the dogs and myself, we were hustling for whatever was thrown from the table. So I learned how to survive from the forest and from the dirt. My aunt brought me from the South to New York, and she was a child abuser.
I see.
So I would go to school with black eyes and da-da-da-da-da.
She used to hit you, huh?
Hit? You call it, it's not called hitting, it's called beating with the iron cord.
So you really had a tough childhood, huh, Eartha?
Well, it was tough, but I mean, I don't say that the scars are so deep that
I got to
cannot,
ask you a question, though.
It's not that I cannot forget it,
You
but
don't-
you do try to forgive. So I became a bag lady in New York City, picking the garbage cans and sleeping on the subways, until I found a way into the Catherine Dunham Company by having an audition and I won
And that's
full,
right,
a
you
full
went to
scholarship.
Paris.
Yes.
And that's where Orson Welles came into Eartha Kitt's life.
Yes.
I got to ask you, Orson Welles, a dear man in your heart.
What do you
I
ask?
got to ask,
What are you asking me about it?
what, Orson Welles, what did he do with your life? I mean, he did a big thing in your life, Eartha. Got to tell me about
Yeah,
it. Tell me.
he thought I was, well, unfortunately he's gone now. But he cast me opposite him in his production of Faust as Helen of Troy.
Right.
And when I asked him what is the character about, what kind of person I am, how old a woman is she,
Right.
and he said, you are all women. You represent all women of all ages, of all kinds. And that's why I chose you to do this part, because you're the most exciting creature I've ever met in my life. But I was terribly young at the time. And it's not a but, I was terribly young at the time. And I think that through the years, I began to understand what he meant. Because it was a feeling that we both had between each other that needed no words. I would hear what he was all about. I could feel what Orson Welles was all about. And I think it was the same from my side that he felt about me. And to me, an exciting person is knowing one of the things about an exciting person to me is knowing when to say something and when not to say something. And if you have something to say and you don't know how to say it, then the best thing to do is be quiet and listen, because later on you will realize the value of that silence.
I see. So Eartha Kitt, Orson Welles is very deep in your heart.
Very.
Woman of the world, traveled all over the world after this wonderful show in Paris. Then you came back to America. Blue Angel, Bonsoir, was it? Or what was it?
The first one that asked me to come to America was the La Vie en Rose.
Ah, that's the club.
And that's when I was singing in all of these different languages and nobody understood me. And even though they said it was very exciting from the artists who were in the audience.
It was tough for you at the beginning when you came back.
Oh, yes, very hard.
It wasn't
yes.
easy.
No.
You were a big star in Europe.
Yes.
And then you came
I
here.
had already won the Best Acting Award of France
Right.
the year before I came back to America.
So the Americans really didn't know Eartha Kitt. Who they thought it was something else, Eartha Kitt, didn't they?
Yeah, they thought I was a garden kit.
Is that what they did?
Something you work in the garden with.
Uh-huh.
Eartha, yeah.
I see.
But 20 blocks away, or so to speak, Max Gordon, after I was a flop at La Vie en
Right.
Rose, Max Gordon, who owned the Blue Angel, called
Right.
and asked me if I would come down there.
Right.
And I went down to the 6 weeks or 2 months later because I was in New York. I had no way of getting back to Paris. Nobody, even the William Morris Agency, didn't remember my name. They didn't know whom the devil I was, but they were the ones who brought me to America for La Vie en Rose. And Max Gordon said, "Oh, we don't change anything, Eartha, just do exactly what you do. And I
Right.
cannot afford to pay you the money you were paying
Right.
in La Vie en Rose." So it was like starting all over again, doing exactly the same thing. And the newspaper said the most exciting thing that's happened in
And
New
Leonard
York.
Stillman and the New Faces went into New
Yes,
Faces.
yes.
Eartha Kitt became a smash.
Yes.
Monotonous, that
Yes.
song.
Yeah.
Where did that song come from?
Well, that was a song that we all wrote. Ronnie Graham, Alice, not
Gilsley?
Alice.
Was
No,
she
not
was
Alice.
in it, though.
She was in it,
Yeah.
but it was June Carroll,
June Carroll.
Ronnie Graham, and myself, because we sat around for something like 10 days or whatever, and they asked me questions about my time on my own, becoming Eartha Kitt in Europe, and I told them all these crazy things that people had been giving me, like elephants in Turkey and so forth and so on. And I was the best dressed pauper in Paris because people like Jack Fath, Pierre Bellemare, Balenciaga,
Yes.
knew I didn't have any money, but they would call me when they could not get rid of something that was out of the ordinary, because they liked my body and they liked me as a personality. So they would call me and they would give me the clothes that they thought were suitable for Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt's one of the most exciting nightclub entertainers in America today.
Is that it?
Los Angeles Times says, yes, one of the most exciting entertainers and cabarets today. And I want to tell you, Eartha Kitt, I've seen your show and I think you're brilliant.
Thank you.
You having a good time at the Roosevelt Hotel?
Yes, I am, at the Cinegrill.
At the Cinegrill.
Yes.
And you are with a lovely, lovely lady of
Yeah,
the
this
show
crazy
with-
lady was living next door to me,
Next,
almost
in
next door
Connecticut?
to me. In Connecticut.
This is Jack Douglas's wife,
Yeah.
Reiko.
Hi.
Hi, Reiko Konbawa.
Konbanwa.
Reiko
Yes.
is in Eartha Kitt's show.
Yes.
Tell me, what are you doing in her show?
Oh, what I'm doing?
Yes.
Oh, I sing with her. She sing a Japanese song, and which is I used to imitating her when I was in Japan. Then when I met her,
Yes.
and let's sing together.
Ah.
So and she.
Chit's lady's husband was on Jack Parr, the greatest writer, comedy writer. Oh, my God.
And I think it's a shame that people like Jack Douglas,
Jack Douglas, yes.
who is a very intelligent person. He's a very funny man. I read his
Yes.
books that his wife brings to me sometimes.
Right.
And one is called the Duckland, the Duck.
Oh, Lava Duck.
yeah.
Lava Duck.
Duck,
Yeah,
yes,
Lava
yes,
Duck.
yes.
And we could be writing the same stories because
Right.
Jack takes things from real life.
Yes.
And sometimes I put the reality things in my books too. And we have had some kind of experiences together.
I see.
And she said when she was in Japan, you tell a story. When you were in Japan, you were.
Yeah, when I was in Japan,
Yes.
I was. She is my favorite singer, and
Everybody's favorite.
Yeah, and I bought the record and listened to her, how she sing, and I memorized by the record.
Yes.
I didn't speak in English.
Yes.
You know. Then I came to United States.
Yes.
Then I got engaged to
Jack Douglas?
No.
Okay.
You
Go ahead. Sorry.
Don't get excited.
yeah,
Go ahead.
engaged to Slate Brothers in Hollywood, and also Edgewater Beach Hotel. Then I met my husband, Jack, in the Slate Brothers. And he was a star of the show, and I was a front singer. Okay, then we got married. I don't want to get the long story. Then we got married after 4 weeks. Then my husband have a new book. He wants to plug in the radio show.
Yes.
Was in the Plaza Rockefeller in a dining room, and radio man there. And we were sitting, Jack and I sitting, and here the Eartha Kitt walking, sit front of me. So I kicking my husband. And he don't know what's going on. I kicking. I don't know what to say. I want to say to something to Eartha, you know. But I don't know anything. And my husband don't know what to say. Well, anyway, after that, we are living in Connecticut, and I heard that Eartha Kitt bought a house in Connecticut. Then I said, realize to me, please give me a telephone number.
Yes.
Yeah, so he gave me. So then I call him up. I said, Eartha Kitt.
Call me up.
You know, you don't know me, but I know you. And now I can speak English. May I come over to see you in your house? She said, why not? And she was very nice.
We don't tell
And,
that part. I want to be evil.
Yeah. That's a great song, Eartha.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's how,
And that's how
funny.
we got to know each
So
other.
you're neighbors in
Yes.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
we were. She's moved now here
Tell
to
me about,
California.
I got to ask you about Jack Parr. I love
Yes.
Jack Parr.
Oh,
days.
he is
Was
wonderful.
it fun days, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, he's a
I
very
used to see you on that
intelligent.
show a lot. You
Yeah.
and your lovely husband.
Yeah, he's a very intelligent
What
man.
is Jack Parr doing nowadays? What is
What is he just did the special show. Yeah, that was November or October. Last
Yes,
October. Yeah.
Were you on that
And,
show, Eartha, many times, weren't you? Were you
No,
ever
not
that
on
show?
Jack Parr.
Never on Jack Parr
I
show?
wish I was, because I thought Jack Parr was one of the most intelligent people on the television, and he should still have a kind of show like that. We should still have a kind of show like Jack Parr, and we should also have the kind of writers that Jack Douglas is. Because they're intelligent people. What happened to these intelligent writers who have, you know, because a show like Jack Parr is not on anymore.
Yes.
He can't write for, didn't he write, your husband wrote for Bob Hope as well?
Yeah, Bob Hope, Red Scout.
Yes, of course.
George Gobo.
Yes.
Your husband wrote for a lot of big hits.
Yes, he did.
Are you still doing I'm Still Here? I'm Still Here.
Yes,
That's your opening number, isn't it?
Yes.
I love that
My
song.
daughter told me never to change that as an opening number.
I think it's a great number. Your
Thank you.
daughter just got married.
My daughter just got married.
Very known man, huh? I understand, a very rich man, yes? Yes? No? Doesn't matter.
I didn't ask him how much he's worth as far as his bank account is concerned. Maybe I should have. But he's very
Did he
rich
get
up
married in
here.
Connecticut or New
He's
York?
no, they got married at the Pierre Hotel.
Did they?
But he's a lawyer, so whether he's monetarily rich
Yes,
today,
yes.
I think he will always be able to make a good providing
She's
situation
in the
for
business,
my daughter.
isn't she?
My daughter is a model, but my daughter is also trained as a lawyer.
Is she really?
Yeah, that's why the two
That's
of
how
them
we
can
got
understand
together,
each other
I see.
very well.
Still the old-fashioned girl, Eartha Kitt? Are you still looking for that house and that little picket fence? But a still
Yeah, my
good old
40 acres
millionaire,
and a
but you're
mule,
still looking
and
for a
the big
millionaire.
mansion on the top.
You're
of
still
the
doing
hill.
that number. That's a great
Yes.
song.
Well, I think that those are what we call the evergreens, and those are the kind of songs that got me out of poverty. I was able to pay my bills with them, at
C'est
least to
bon.
some extent. Yes, that's always there too. But you can sing the same songs, but it doesn't mean that you are actually singing it the same way, because life is different every day. The words may be the same, but there is a lot of innuendos too, a lot of ad-lib that goes
How
on.
are the audiences at the Roosevelt Hotel? Now, it's
Fantastic.
Opening night,
Oh,
rainy night. You
fantastic.
had great stars, I
Yeah.
understand there.
Fantastic.
Yeah. You had the Catwoman, the other Catwoman there.
Yeah,
I understand.
Julie Newmar.
Julie
was in
Newmar
there.
came in.
And last night it was Michelle from Star Trek.
Ah.
It's a beautiful girl, wonderful girl. And Carl Reiner's wife was there last night. And it's wonderful to work knowing that I don't like to know before because I
Yes.
get too nervous. Afterwards, it's wonderful, exciting that, my goodness, that person came to see me, but it's wonderful when we all meet in the dressing, in my room upstairs and go through old times and present times too.
Any new songs in your act, Eartha?
Quite a few new songs.
Are there?
Particularly the last song that I do, after the one that I wrote, the poem too, all by myself that I wrote to my daughter.
The song for your daughter,
Yes,
the poem.
yes. And I end the show with a song that Art Butler wrote here in Los Angeles.
All by myself?
No. At
It's-
the end of that
at
one,
the-
it's
yeah.
called Here's to Life, Here's to Love, and Here's to You. Because after all is said and done, no matter what you've gone through in life,
Right.
I always look forward to tomorrows.
Tomorrow's. Now is the time. You live for it now, right? You don't forget about the past. You don't
No,
look
you
for the
don't
past?
forget about the past. You use it
You
to
use
enhance
the
your
past.
future.
Uh-huh. I see. You're having a good time in life, though, Eartha Kitt, aren't you? Right now.
Yes.
You are?
Yeah, because I like myself very much.
You do?
Yes, and I think that I'm much more valuable to myself today than maybe I was
I see.
10, 15, 20
So when you
years
look
ago.
back over
because I
your-
know now what I have achieved, and I know more of where I want to go, and I am now very sensitive to my own values.
So when you look back at your whole career, looking back at your whole career, I mean, what was the big ambition Eartha Kitt had? And what was the big ambition? And
Eating.
No, come on. What was it that you have
It's
never
true.
that you
You
never
see-
accomplished? That you never accomplished? What was your
Eating,
great?
really.
Really?
It's true, because no matter how much money you've made, you never know when it's going to be gone, and a lot of it is gone through husbands who were thieves,
Yes.
who accountants
strange.
maybe who were thieves, etc., and that's why I'm saying to you, Skip, thank goodness I bought real estate, because that I know how to survive on. But you never know if you're going to be big money making
Right.
from one moment to the other. It depends on what you do with your life, which becomes the most valuable thing, and what you've done with your life. For me, I feel there's always another tomorrow. Not to be the biggest star in the world, not to be making the biggest money, because money today has become very cheap, as you know that. It doesn't mean
Yes.
very much anymore. You can have $1 billion in the bank, and if you don't feel safe within yourself, I don't know what it all means. You could get an
So
ulcer.
the kid's very spiritual, isn't she?
Very spiritual, I always have been.
Yes. You meditate, Eartha?
No, who the
No
hell
med-
goes? Who
no
wants to go through all of this
meditations,
nonsense about?
You don't do any
I'm going to
meditation?
sit and meditate. I'm meditating all the time, intellectually in my head,
Ah.
so I can repose even when I'm talking to you, Skippy.
I see. I see.
Yes.
Ah. Does Eartha Kitt have a man in her life right now?
No, and I don't think I want
Oh,
one.
come on, Eartha Kitt. Is Eartha Kitt going to get married someday?
Well, I'm not saying yes or no. I don't know what happens tomorrow, but I don't have any man in my life right now, and I don't know if I really want one, because maybe the way they have treated me all my life, you know, the good ones that I really wanted, the mothers became the most domineering situation that cut off the relationships, and the ones that I thought would be okay turned out to be rotters.
How about politics, Eartha Kitt?
How about
Would you
politics?
like to run in politics? Would you? Would you
No,
like?
no,
You said that quickly.
that's true.
Really?
Because the machinery is working, is running everything today. Intelligence is not.
I see.
And I would like to think that I'm an intelligent person. And I don't think that if you were going to be running for a political position, you're going to have to weigh your intelligence against the machinery. And I don't think I
So
would
you
like to
don't
get involved with
believe-
any in that.
You don't believe there's going to be a black president this time, and the coming up,
I wouldn't say no, but I would say I wouldn't gamble on it.
but maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Do you think Jesse Jackson, say if Dukakis runs, do you think Jesse Jackson would run for the vice president?
Vice President,
Yeah,
I think
would
it would
he-
be very intelligent of him and his people to advise him to do
Advise
that. Because I think it's about time also
Right.
that two different groups
Right.
are putting their intelligence into the ism of having America go in the direction
Right.
in which we want to go. And I think that it should not be one color that is leading this country. We are too amalgamated now. We have too many cultures, too many races, too many groups, too many thises, too many that's in the United States for one man for a white man, I will say it very bluntly, for a white man to be running this country.
Right.
No, you need 4 different races. You have 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 20 different races in this country. And everyone should have their input according to where we want our country to go.
When did you come to this country, Keith?
Huh?
When did you arrive into this country?
When?
When? Along,
Oh, 1960.
60.
Yes.
I see. So you're having a good time in America. You go back and
Yes.
forth to Tokyo, do you?
Once in a while.
Your
yes.
folks are there? Yes.
Yes, my family there. Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
But she should feel very comfortable in this country. Her people have bought it all up.
They certainly have. Stock markets, everything.
You're right.
They got it all. That's
Right.
true.
Not that she thinks
What
one
do you
way
think
or-
about that, Eartha?
Well,
Yeah,
not
that
that she thinks
upsets.
one way or,
That kind of
about
upsets
that.
me a lot.
It upsets me too.
It
like
really
I told
does.
you before.
Yeah, I'm upset too.
Yeah,
You're
because
upset
she's-
too.
She's
Yes.
an American citizen.
She's an American citizen. But it really upsets me that everyone comes to America and take our dollars and take them elsewhere. You know.
Yes, that's why those of us who are artists should be much more appreciated in that area, because we go to foreign countries and we bring home the
Bring
American
home the
dollar.
dollars, yes.
That's also why I think that it's very unfair for American tourists
Right.
to